Um, a very good morning to one and all. Um, on behalf of the entire team of NCFE, I welcome you all for this webinar on Digital Financial Services Day 2022. National Center for Financial Education, that is NCFE, is conducting this Digital Financial Services Day 2022 in association with MITI, that is Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, and the National Payments Corporation of India, that is NPCI. We all know that the digital financial literacy is the buzzword nowadays, and it's a multidimensional concept, not only covering the digital financial products, but also digital financial risk control and digital grievance redressal. On the same, our team has developed a small video and we would like to showcase to all. So may I request my team to please play the video, and I would request all the participants to take a look at the video. Thank you. Thank you. Also, today we have a webinar on digital payments, safe and secure. And for the same, we have a distinguished speaker from the National Payments Corporation of India, Mr. Mayur Kaku. We welcome you, sir. Just to introduce the speaker for all our participants, Mr. Mayur Kaku is currently heading the brand and digital communication communications at NPCI, and he has a diverse experience in the field of brand communication, brand planning, and consumer insights. Also, at the end of the session, sir, we'll be having a few question and answer session by our own participants. And now I kindly request Mr. Mayur Kaku, sir, to take over. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Karthik. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, thanks. So first of all, thanks a lot. It's an honor to be here, and this, in fact, I'm probably doing this for the second time in a row. Last year, probably we had connected. So I think somewhere, thank you for inviting me. Before I get onto the presentation, I'd just like to acknowledge and thank the guidance that we get from our seniors at NPCI, the guidance from the regulator, that is RBI. The team at RBI, and the various financial inclusion initiatives, that guidance we keep getting from the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, that is MITI. So with that, I'll probably start with the presentation. Or probably just to set context, I'll just tell you what I've done here. I've just tried to put together some initiatives or programs and some of the product information around them, so that we can tell you that how we are actually fueling the digital payments in this country. And more than that, it is not only something that NPCI is spearheading. We have the support and the governance of the respected regulators and various stakeholders in the country, like banks, fintechs, government bodies. With their guidance, we are able to actually run the agenda on financial inclusion. So what we would like to call, this is the broad flow of my presentation. I'll be broadly touching upon these topics. I'll try to keep it less technical and more interactive. So definitely please uh, note any questions that you may have. We can take them at the end of the session. So I'll probably go ahead. So currently, if you see what is happening is, largely there is a need felt for financial inclusion in this country. And when I say this, it means that the the fruits of technology and finance coming together should not be restricted to the privileged few. And by this, I mean that the how do we as an ecosystem create opportunities for even the last mile consumer, or the consumer who's sitting in tier 2, tier 3 cities, way away from technology, or maybe who's just adopting technology? How do we actually get the benefits of digital and finance to these people with the digital solutions? So we do our bit. I think the kind of infrastructure laid by Aadhaar is one of the critical things that is actually enabling the financial inclusion in the last mile. We'll talk about it in detail in the coming slides. Uh, let's look at some of the government initiatives that are actually furthering this agenda. So one is the Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile Trinity, which is basically the power of Aadhaar, PMJDY, which is the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, and the mobile communication. So the more the mobiles become accessible, purchasable, the data becoming democratized, that is really helping the creation of Jan Dhan bank accounts. And when they are linked with Aadhaar, then definitely there is a cash out that can be done easily from that account. There can be access to the bank balance. There can be access to the other allied services of a bank. That really, in a way, is one of the strong propellers from the government side that is boosting financial inclusion in the country. If you look at various financial literacy projects, there are some project financial literacy of the Reserve Bank of India. This was basically used to disseminate the information of general banking concepts to school and college going children, rural folk, and the urban poor. Then there are some initiatives by SEBI and NISM's flagship programs. Where the objective of was to help the school children understand the value of money, importance of saving, investing, and financial planning. Because it may seem to us that when we have access to all this knowledge right from an early age, not necessary that the person who's not so privileged sitting in the tier 2 city of India, how can we actually get them in on the benefits of financial inclusion early on, or how can we give them access to financial products early on in their life stage? Moving on, if you see various digital payments that have really strengthened the effect of financial inclusion, one of them is Unified Payment Interface, which is UPI. It's a product developed by NPCI. The UPI payments have really made it fast and secure for smaller ticket payments, payment through QR code, enabling peer-to-peer, which is transferring money between two people, friends. So that has really, in a way, revolutionized the way India makes payments. When you look at the Aadhaar enabled payment system, AEPS, it's basically largely used as a cash out product. So earlier, the money that was sent from the government's end to the last mile, say farmers, for purchasing subsidies or for food distribution. So the access has been enabled by AEPS. So, for example, the government deposits the money in the PMJDY accounts, and because sometimes the access to the bank is not very close, so AEPS, with the use of a business correspondent, the um, the customer who's in the smaller markets gets access to his own money. So this product is help for that. So basically, these digital payments have really created the access for the common man to the various initiatives led by the government, led by organizations like NPCI, to create more chances for them to participate in the financial literacy, financial inclusion, and the related programs. So let's see, probably doing some kind of a deep dive into the digital payments further. I'll not probably spend too much, but I think it is somewhere important to mention these things, because somewhere, you know, in the heat of things, we tend to probably overlook this. But digital payment modes are basically electronic payment modes. They make payments fast, easy, convenient. They are economical. They provide a digital record of transactions in a one place. They are basically your account to account payments. So basically, whatever transactions you undertake, those transactions you can have a record of them. There's no need of any paper exchange. There's no need for probably giving a check, doing a deposit slip. So all those barriers of language, of filling those things in, are suddenly removed. It helps keeping track of where the money is moving, which accounts. So that really does more of a accountability aspect of payments for India. There are various modes, say internet banking, mobile banking. You can do it through mobile apps like Bheem, Bheem UPI, GPay, Google Pay, phone pay, so on and so forth. And card-based transaction, definitely the cards are also one of the techniques by which the payments are made. Some advantages that we want to highlight is definitely you can pay your friends for any kind of bill that you want to split at a restaurant, any smaller payments you want to make to merchants. So you don't have to really wait in a line to make payments. You just scan a QR code, payment is done, and you can walk out. So it is very, very fast, safe, and somewhere digital payments eliminates the security risks. That is basically that comes with handling of cash. So these are some of the advantages of digital payments. Coming to NPCI, so I mean, this is all public data that we want to talk about, and probably I'll just take a minute to talk about NPCI here. So we believe that we are a public good company. We are not for profit. We want to really enable the masses with the power of digital payments. We really want to create a robust payment and settlement infrastructure in India that everybody can use to make seamless payments. For example, the way we have been able to innovate with UPI, it is one of the strongest systems in the globe, where we have established a system to revolutionize the kind of smaller payments that's available to everybody. So we are an umbrella organization operating retail payments in India. We were founded in 2008. It was set up under the guidance of Reserve Bank of India and Indian Banks Association. Our vision is to make the best, or to be the best payments network on the globe. And our mission is to touch every Indian with one of the other product or services that we make. Because we truly believe that the power of digital payments is here, and it will stay, and it will only take us further to the path of progress. And we want to actually, through our products, touch every Indian and create that kind of a atmosphere of acceptance of digital payments far and wide. And it's our goal, it's our ambition to move towards a less cash society by providing secure, instant, convenient, and affordable payment solutions. Somehow, you know, when we talk about the rosy side of things and the kind of things that really give us passion to perform every day, but there are some challenges that we cater on this path. One is probably the low financial literacy or lack of awareness that is there among the people, which leads to probably cybercrime or results in reduction on use of digital technology. So somewhere the adoption of technology is one of the challenges which can inhibit the growth of digital payments. Somewhere we feel that the tech savvy definitely utilize the technology, but people who are not really tech savvy, how can we make payments more easier and accessible to those folk? That somewhere becomes very critical. uh, there are more than 310 million people who do not possess a basic feature phone or a smartphone. And we are just talking about ballpark numbers here. I mean, we really feel that how can we really enable every person to take the benefit of digital payments? And somewhere we feel, you know, for example, for a UPI you need a smartphone. For understanding of you know, for using a card, you need a card that is activated through a ATM, you need a pin. So these things somewhere, if all these check boxes are not there, then really we cannot enable a strong and smooth digital payment system. And last is data privacy, which is a concern, and how the various players in the ecosystem consume data, share data, and how do they probably encrypt it, and their usage can be monitored. We basically believe that once digital payments can go miles from where we are, once all the data privacy concerns and everything are kept in track. So what we do is here, what we have done is we have tried to put our various products and how we actually cater to these segments. So if you see, starting with the bottom layer, around 230 million people who can be reached with our RuPay cards, which is the debit card, the Aadhaar enabled payment system, BBPS, which is Bharat Bill Pay system, NFS, which is a national financial switch, which is basically the interoperability between ATMs. So these are the products that reach to the bottom layer. The middle layer is the next 500 million people who have feature phones. So people with feature phones can use the products as mentioned above, plus *99#, which is basically based on a feature for the feature phone. So they can, by doing this, they have the opportunity of booking travel tickets, life insurance, buy ETFs, create EMI mandates, make bill payments, use it for payments through the RuPay card on POS machines, which is point of sale. The top layer is another 550 million people who have smartphones. So visually, suddenly, if you see, the same products are carried forward in the top layer, but there are some other products like NETC, FASTag, Beam UPI. So these products somewhere require the use of a smartphone. So somewhere you have the potential for getting a credit card, less cardless transactions, QR based transactions through Beam UPI, so on and so forth. Somewhere we want to in a way capture that how NPCI and its products can actually enable the last mile. And when we talk about the last mile and financial inclusion, it is not only the people who are sitting in tier 2 and tier 3 markets, because many of the cities also have the rural pockets, as we call it, or the outskirts of cities, where really the initiation is less, education may not be, education or awareness of digital payment products may not be up to the mark. So even those, we want to reach to those markets and, spread this agenda of financial inclusion through our products. So coming to our products, I'll quickly take you through some of the products that have really helped in creating the financial inclusion. So this is, let's talk of e-Rupi here. This is basically a prepaid voucher, which basically which is launched recently in the last 6 months. So an e-Rupi is basically a one-time use voucher with a defined validity. When I say defined validity, that for example, this can be used only for the intent that it is given for. To simplify this, and we will probably look at it in detail in the next slide. What I'm trying to say is, for example, the government really wants to give, say, for fertilizer subsidies to farmers. So instead of sending cash, which they can later withdraw, it can actually give away this voucher, and this voucher, the validity and acceptance can be predefined. So the usage of this e-Rupi voucher can be e-Rupi can be done only for the intent. So the farmer can only use this voucher for redemption against fertilizer subsidies. So it is basically creating intent-based vouchers which people can use. So this helps in reducing the uh, uh, misuse of the funds that are allocated for certain items. Another example could be that the funds that the government releases for education, or buying of things that enable education, that is books and other things. If you do it through a e-Rupi route, then the same can be redeemed against only buying books or the course material, so to say. So these are just examples to tell you how e-Rupi can be utilized. It's a product. What you see on the screen is for COVID-19 vaccination. So what happened was, various government entities, banks, they issued this e-Rupi voucher for their employees. So the employees went to the COVID vaccination centers, showed this, and took the vaccination and went out. there was no need of payment because this was a prepaid voucher created for the intent of COVID-19 vaccination. So as I said, the first point, which is the critical point, is the one-time use with a defined validity. Then it is definitely cashless. It is contactless because it is, you can just show the QR from far. Somebody will scan it from their phone and it's done. The payment is received and you can get the intended use of the voucher. As I said, it can be purpose or person specific. So this can be issued to a person. So it can be issued to a Mayur Kaku for the purpose of, say, purchasing fertilizers. And and only with my credentials and this QR code can redeem this at the point of sale. The next one is definitely safe and secure because it is driven and it is customized, so it cannot be misused unless the credentials are not matched. The payment will not happen. Also, the personal data is protected to ensure privacy. So basically, it's just as in a prepaid card or in a prepaid instrument. This is a voucher where the intention is clearly mentioned. Therefore, the utilization can be monitored and it can be done specifically for the purpose. So as I said, this can be used by government organization, corporates who want to do something for their customers, want to do something for their employees to avoid any kind of misuse and do it in a very structured and monitored way. Uh, it is helped. It's helpful for the beneficiaries who want to accept the benefit in easy and safe manner. And the service provider, or in this case, the example that we showed of the vaccination center, if they can just keep a track of the payments instead of finding, oh, this was a vaccination payment at a hospital. This clearly gives them a clear view of what all payments did I get through the e-Rupi voucher. So these are some of the use cases where we discussed one, which is the COVID vaccination, followed by some kind of the diagnostic services or medicines that can be taken under health insurance schemes of the government, or it can be other services, subsidy schemes given by the government for girl students or students in general. This product can be used for that. This is just probably I wouldn't spend much time here, but this is how the flow happens, where a corporate gives the voucher to the customer or the employee. They go to the the place where they want to avail the service. That service actually pings in where the voucher was generated. Authentication happens, and then once they get the confirmation, yes, this is the same person through the product, they can go and the customer will be given the service. This is how largely the flow happens. Moving on, talking about AEPS. Now, AEPS is a bank-led model where which allows interoperable financial transactions. So, for example, somebody has a card, has an account in State Bank of India, but the bank is really very far, the bank branch where the account is. What they can do is they can go to the nearest business correspondent, which we call as the BC, and through their micro ATM device, use the card or the thumb impression to withdraw money from their own account. So ABS is generally used as a cash out product where a lot of the government subsidy schemes funds are put in people's account, and generally people tend to use it to encash the same out of their accounts. Apart from that, all the it can also be used by other bank account holders through the power of their biometric, which is basically enabled by Aadhaar. And somewhere they can also get access to services like cash withdrawal, services like allied services of the bank, micro loans, FDs, so on and so forth. The only inputs that are required for anybody to use this, they need the bank name, the Aadhaar number, and the capturing of the fingerprint. So these are some of the interesting statistics that I would like to share, which is basically 3.5 billion approved transactions in financial year 2021. We have around 141 banks actively participating in AEPS, 0.41 billion transactions, and around 26,000 crore value of as of December 2021. That is the numbers that are actually happening on this product. 33 lakh plus active terminal on monthly basis, which is basically so many micro ATMs exist in the ecosystem, which are probably used on a monthly basis, and around 43 crore bank accounts are open under the PMJDY scheme. So this basically gives you the potential or the extent of reach that this product has. for the masses. So just to probably give you, summing up our understanding of AEPS is basically it's for the people who are really don't have want to experience the digital inclusion through a bank, and this the network of BCs that are close by in their village and the bank branches are far. This product actually helps them to get the balance inquiry, withdraw cash, deposit cash, and so on and so forth with the power of their fingerprint. So what you see here is a representative micro ATM on the right hand side. What my intention was to show you as to how this machine looks, and if you see on the top right, they have a place where you can probably scan the thumb or the finger that is registered in UIDI, and then that can be used to authenticate the person, and various services like cash withdrawal, cash deposit, fund transfer, balance inquiry, mini statement generation, using it as Bhim Aadhaar. All these services are available through this machine. This is largely how the AEPS product works. So yeah, this is just some explanation about suppose we click on cash withdrawal, we come to the next screen where you have to input. If you look at your screens on the right hand side, in the device under cash withdrawal, you have to enter your Aadhaar number, select the bank that you have the account in, enter the amount, and click proceed. And after authentication, this is the process of authentication that happens at the back. Once all the authentication is done, if you see stage 12 is where the ATM approves it, and then they can get cash from the business correspondent. You get an acknowledgement saying that so and so you have withdrawn 1000 rupees, this is your available balance. Thank you for using the micro ATM, and then they can get a receipt out of it. So this basically is enabling banking for the far-flung customers and has a direct use case into financial inclusion. Coming on to the next product, which is RuPay. Now, RuPay is India's own domestic card scheme. It was launched in March 2012. It provides universal access to card payment system, which is basically you can use a card to make payment on an e-commerce website. You can take this card to an ATM to withdraw cash. You can actually use it on a point of sale machine where, for example, when you're shopping or when you have gone to a merchant, after completing your shopping, you can actually swipe the card, tap the card, and basically pay for the services that you have used. It holds more than 69% of market share in debit cards. And we have tied up with various global players to have international acceptance on this product. When you talk of debit cards, I think it is worthwhile to talk about the PMJDY scheme, which is the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana card. It was issued to people who have opened the Jan Dhan accounts. This is basically where the government opened accounts and started putting, the beneficiary, in the beneficiary account, they started putting the various scheme benefits that accrue to them. But many people were not aware, and many people didn't know how to actually probably utilize this. Then it was decided to give away RuPay PMJDY cards. These cards were basically used for use at so the idea was to make them use this at the ATMs to withdraw their own money and cash when they required. So this was basically done to drive the last mile inclusion, because somewhere this unbanked segment was not really getting the benefits of your digital payments, and I think somewhere the RuPay cards try to do that. The card allows to make transactions at all ATM, POS, which is basically point of sale terminals, and e-commerce websites. Various features of that come with this card is a comprehensive insurance of about 2 lakhs. Then the various offers that comes with domestic merchant offers on POS and e-com usage. This is something that we have experimented recently, and we really feel that the traditional form factor of a card, it's time that now it needs to probably be relooked at. What we're saying is that how can we actually get the benefits of a card without have to carrying the card. So these are some of the very new options that NPCI has developed, which is basically wearable technology for payments. So in the first one, you see there is a digital watch. So within the digital watch, you have the chip which can later be used, for example, showing it to the machine and making the payment. Then the second one is a keychain, which is embedded with a chip, and this chip can be used for making tap-in payments. So you don't really have to dip the card into the machine. If the machine is a contactless POS machine, this the second circle image that you see, this keychain has to be just tapped on his head, and the payment will be made without entering a PIN up to the amount of rupees 5,000. So this is as per the allowable limit and things that have been set by the regulator. The third one is a band, and the fourth one is again kind of a variable band where the chip is embedded inside. Uh, can we probably have the video now and then we can move ahead? NCFE team. Yeah. Can we have the presentation, please? So largely what we are saying is, it's important that we have initiatives towards digital inclusion, but somewhere I think these newer form factors will really create excitement for even everybody, basis whatever suits the requirement to use various digital form factors to make payments. Just to tell you about some of the features of On The Go is it works on NFC technology for faster payments. It supports various form factors, as we saw, a watch, a keychain, or think of it as a mobile sticker on the back of your phone. It can still work. The transaction time or the processing time is shorter. There's higher security on it. It is again interoperable, and it's an open loop solution. So some of the benefits to customers is you can do is one of the strongest benefit is convenience of making payments with no additional instrument to initiate them. For banks, it is digitization of small value payments. With the ease that comes with on-the-go payments comes the opportunity to increase smaller transactions. So think of the wearable technology to make smaller payments at your medical shop or the vegetable vendor who has a POS machine, or a kirana store, and using them for smaller day-to-day payments. It really catches on, and the entire experience of variable payments really comes alive. And definitely, we think that for the merchants, it is increased customer loyalty because it additionally makes the on-the-go payment instrument increase the consumer stickiness. Coming on to Bhim UPI. Uh, so UPI is a system that powers multiple bank accounts into a single mobile application, uh, we, uh, which basically is the basis where your apps like Google Pay, Phone Pay work. It also one of the strongest benefits of UPI is it caters to peer-to-peer payment. As we covered in the initial slides, we spoke about how it can actually help smaller payments between two people, say friends who want to split a bill, or how to make quick payments instead of reaching out for cash and then getting the exact amount. This the UPI as a payment system really removes this hassle of peer-to-peer payments. Beam is an app that basically helps you make simple, easy, and quick payment transactions using the unified payment interface. Users can make instant bank-to-bank payments and pay and collect money using their smartphones. And there's something called as the virtual payment address, the VPA, or the UPI ID, which can be used to initiate transactions on this platform. So just to highlight some features, one, it enables push and pull payments. So you can make payments and you can actually send in requests, which we call as collect requests to get payments. For UPI ID, no need to share any bank details. You just have to give your UPI ID and you can actually give it to somebody and they can make you a payment. So in a way masks the need to give away your account credentials. The transfer, it's a transfer using the single identifier, which is the virtual address. It is a one app for all the transactions. So if you want to scan a code, you want to put in a UPI ID, it's a single app that does everything for you. And somewhere it provides an app to customers to pay uh, app to customers of any bank. So it really clubs all the accounts under one roof, and then you can decide which one to use to make your payments. These are some of the newer initiatives that we feel are really the next big thing, and somewhere we need to probably popularize them. One is Rupee on the go, which is the wearable technology we just discussed. Then it is the Rupee contactless cards. Now, a contactless card is a card which looks like exactly like a debit card or a credit card, but it is the chip is enabled in such a way that if you just tap it on a contactless POS machine, the transaction can happen. So there is no need to actually tip the card, enter the PIN to make a payment. Up to rupees 5,000, the payments can be made in a contactless manner. Contactless meaning the customer need not hand over the card, but they can just tap it on the merchant's point of sale machine and the transaction goes through. The next big thing in digital payments is the auto pay, which is recurring mandate that can be created on UPI and Rupee, which is basically, for example, you are using your mobile phone and there is a bill that comes to you every month. If you just set it up as an auto pay on a mandate, that whenever, for example, Vodafone sends you a bill, the payment needs to be made automatically on so and so date. So the moment you create these mandates, the hassle of remembering, oh, I need to make my payment is out. Suddenly, everything is happening automatically, and this really fuels the preference. And these are some of the reasons that will actually lead to adoption of digital payments. Uh, this we I would like to quickly touch upon this topic of tokenization. Now, tokenization is basically where we replace the sensitive pieces of data that, such as, for example, your credit card, debit card number, or PAN card number, with unique but different piece of data collected called a token. So I'll just probably try to explain it in a simple manner. So, for example, imagine you use an app to order food, any app, so Swiggy, Zomato. If you do that, you often need to enter your card details, and those card details are then stored by that app. There is a chance, and we are probably coming from the security aspect of digital transactions here. There is a chance that any app who is saving your card numbers and all, if because of some data breach or any other unforeseen circumstances, if this data gets leaked, then it might put a lot of consumers in trouble. So what you're saying is this sensitive piece of data, through technology called tokenization, gets converted into a token, and this token is then used to make the payment. So the benefits of this tokenization are, it reduces the risk of data breach. It thereby ensures the security of data. If the card is stolen, the payment information can be updated automatically, so recurring payments is not affected. Merchant benefit from more secure transaction as well as faster checkout experiences, and a new payment acceptance option is created for the customers. Various use cases for tokenization can be e-commerce. E-commerce is when you basically order in your goods from websites and apps. So maybe payment through a token it can really help. It can help in the case of in-app where mobile applications are used for uh, making payments for the transactions on the go. And NFC is again a technology where payment tokens are in the NFC device, say for example the wearable or say a keychain, and then the same can be used to make payments on the go. Yeah, we often come across this narrative of digital payments being safe and secure, and I think every organization in the ecosystem does their bit to help consumers to understand how to use uh, digital payments responsibly and secure and in a secure manner. What we as an organization believe that it is very important for us to offer the kind of education and assistance to the customer. So this is something that we do for the people who use UPI and people who are probably sitting on the fence and are not sure or have some concerns behind using digital payments for their day-to-day transactions. So we have come up with this campaign, and the whole intent is to clearly highlight the benefits of doing digital payments are great, but what are the things that the consumers must keep in mind before they initiate any kind of a bill payment. So we have around 5 key messages to give in this UPI Safety Shield campaign. One, enter UPI PIN only to deduct money from your account. UPI PIN is not required for receiving money. So we come across cases where people with not so good intentions reach out to various consumers who are not very savvy, and they ask them to give them the UPI PIN so that they can receive money, which is not the case. So this is one clear message that we want to say, that enter UPI PIN only when you want to send money or you want the money to be deducted from your account. It's not required if you want to receive money. Before making any payment, check the receiver's name once, twice, and verify the UPI ID. Do not pay without verification. So please, before making any payments, verify is it the intended receiver or no. Third, use UPI PIN only on the app's UPI PIN page. So the UPI PIN page is something on the left that you see next to the UPI Safety Shield. That is the only page. Once you see that page, once you have verified the UPI ID, only then put in your PIN. Don't put it on any other PIN that page that looks anything different from this page. Scan QR code only for making payment and not for receiving money. Again, whenever you scan a QR code, you that needs to be done only when you want to make a money. Don't scan a QR code if somebody has promised you to send money to you or where you are supposed to receive money. And fifth is get solution from UPI help section on the UPI app, not from any internet or unverified channels. So what we have realized is people tend to go on to Google and type things if they have come across some kind of not so comfortable experience on UPI or something wrong has happened with their payment. We encourage that you check the UPI help section only, because there is a chance that when they reach out to these unverified channels, they might again be succumb to wrong information, or they may not really be able to get a resolution out of the grievance that they have. This is the same, and we really want this to be heard loud and clear that please be responsible while enjoying the benefits of digital payments. Quickly, and this is a very different slide which we want to end this with. So we are just saying that something like a machine to machine payment, which is basically where your devices talk to each other and the payment makes. So think of an electric car that pays for the charging station when you just park it. So it's the payments happen between two devices that have been set together or pre paired in a manner of speaking. So that can be the newer use cases. Then pay per use payments is basically direct payment of amount depending on the consumption. So basically, many a times we end up paying, like a lump sum charge. But what if exact calculation and the payments can be broken into consumption, and only that kind of automated payments can be triggered? That is another interesting use case that can fuel payments in the future. Yes, probably this is one last slide where I would like to talk about how financial inclusion is actually critical, and what can really we can expect in future. So basically what we have realized is a lot of digital payment transactions have started to happen across the strata of society, but because of various reasons, due to inhibitions or lack of awareness, financial inclusion goals are not really we are not able to see the kind of scale in, especially in the tier 2 markets or markets beyond the cities. So how can the next phase of digital payments help the last mile consumers? I think it is somewhere the responsibility of all the stakeholders in the ecosystem. For example, the banks, when they reach out to their customers, some kind of awareness building and the assurance that they need to do digital transactions can be initiated. Second is the ecosystem players like us, NPCI, and other fintech companies. When they are onboarding digital payment solutions, can they run some consumer awareness initiatives, so that this gives not only opportunity for business, but also the responsibility of getting people onto digital payments rest with us, where they can do it in a safe and secure manner. With that, I think I am covered what I had to. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. We'll just take some of the questions. One of the most common questions that the participants have asked is online transaction has made it very easier nowadays. But however, the frauds are also increasing. So what would your advice be, or what would your suggestions be for all the people who are using these UPI transactions, how to avoid fraud or avoid scamsters so that our money is protected?
Okay, and I think it's a very interesting question. Trust me, that is the first question that even my parents asked a few years back. Do you think this is safe? And I completely empathize with the point that the question is being asked. And I'm responding to this not as the official person or the technology official response from NBCI, but this is what I feel as an individual, what I would do when I am faced with this question. So one thing is. And I like to take this as a with the help of a small example, right? Like for example, in the olden days when you had to withdraw money from the bank, and when you had to walk there from home, there are various ways people typically adopt. They'll put it in one bag, second bag, third bag. They'll put it somewhere here. So how there were some kind of security measures when you carry cash around, right? You have a mindset. Oh, this is like a huge money, so I should not carry so much cash. And everybody has their own approach to it, right? What I'm saying is, similarly, with digital payments, there are certain guidelines. As I showed you the 5 guidelines, okay, is basically where you should, when you are entering a PIN, you have to be sure whether you want to make a payment. That is the first thing. Second, who are you making the payment to? This is something that I do. When I have to make a bulk payment, I first make a small test payment. I make a small test payment of say whatever 100 rupees, 10 rupees. It is all subjective. This is not like an official guideline I'm giving. I'm just sharing my personal experience. I will make that one small test payment, see if that person receives, and then I make the bigger payment. These are some of the smaller checks that I have built for myself when I'm making any digital payment. Second, the point of being the fraudster. It is very important to identify whether you're putting the pin on the designated UPI page only. So I think there is some level of education required. There's some level of responsibility that rests with all of us as the ecosystem partners, with organizations like yourself who is really helping people understand digital payments. I think one is, unless and until we raise the awareness levels, we will continue to see some cases. But however, it is in our hands, is what I believe, is how can we responsibly use digital payments. it would not be right to say that if you do these five things, no fraud will happen. I'm probably not in the position to say that. But if we are very diligent, if we know how to really pick up it step by step, like for example, never do payment when you're in a rush or in a hurry. Always be patient before making a digital transaction. I hope these things will come down as the awareness levels go up.
Thank you very much, sir, for your insights. One of the questions asked with the participants is UPI payments is only within India, or can it be also made for abroad payments also?
Okay, in my knowledge, it is you can do it for now only in India, and for other channels of abroad, I think there are experts in the team. When I can get back to you on this, but as far as my knowledge goes, it's within India.
Okay. Okay. And one of the participants' question is that what is the grievance redressal mechanism in case any fraud happens? What is the fastest mechanism through which one may try to contact UPI team or the NPCI team, or for that instance, if any fraud happens?
So I have Avdut on this. Avdut, you'd like to take this?
This is the final data which we are.
Yeah, sure. Hi. So I'm from the UPI product team as of now. And when it comes to the frauds and you want to reach out to somebody in the frauds, the best way to do it are two things. Number one, generally it's on the UPI application. On every UPI application, we have mandated a redressal mechanism wherein you can go report your fraud and raise a concerned complaint over there. And number two, and the best option would be to go to your bank. Right? Those are the two options that you must follow to resolve any issues that you get.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. I hope all the questions of the participants have been answered. Thank you for a very patient listening, sir. And now I hand over to my colleague, Mr. Midun, for the vote of thanks.
Sure.
Thank you, sir. At the outset, on behalf of the entire NCFE team, I would like to thank Shri Mayur Kaku, sir, from National Payment Corporation of India, for giving us such a wonderful session on digital payment, safe and secure. I also extend my thanks to Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and NPCI for smooth coordination to conduct this webinar. I would like to thank all the participants, including the youth, college students, financial education trainers, FLCs, and each and every participant who has attended this webinar. I hope all the participants are able to gain or update their knowledge on digital finance after attending this webinar. Thank you so much, everyone. It was our pleasure to organize 6 such national level webinars during this Financial Literacy Week and Digital Financial Services Day. I would like to thank all financial education, financial sector regulators, RBI, SEBI, IRDA, and PFRDA for their continued support and guidance. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.